Well, I feel like we should kick this off with some like old ass news. It's kind of newer news to me, but I guess I'm not a fucking 18-year-old girl, and that's why it's old news to me.
I knew before. I knew before everybody.
This is about Justin Bieber.
Yeah, so
I follow the Biebs.
In case you were like me, because I don't follow the Biebs, I don't eat Bimbits or whatever the fuck they put out. I'm not a Bieber Bimbit boy.
They should have been called Bimbits. What are they called?
They were called, I don't know.
Tim Biebs.
Tim Biebs, yeah.
Bimbits
is better.
Yeah.
It's got to be the dumbest name. Tim Biebs must be the dumbest name for the stupidest campaign that worked.
Dude, how much do you think he got paid for that?
I hope a lot.
Well, I hope it was enough to get him treated for Ramsay Hunt, because here's the video that he put out.
Hey everyone, Justin here.
TikTok eye
I wanted to update you guys on.
I don't think that's a TikTok eye roll. He literally can't move his face on the right side.
No.
As you can probably see from my face.
I know we're trying to listen to this, but that's the TikTok
yeah.
I have
yeah, you would know, Brian.
I would.
This syndrome called Ramsay Hunt Syndrome.
That's how much he cares.
And it is from
Dude, he really should care.
He should care.
Yeah, it's bad.
Virus
this could be bad.
That attacks the nerve in my ear and my facial nerves and has caused my face to have paralysis. As you can see, this eye is not blinking. I can't smile on this side of my face. This nostril will not move. So there's full paralysis in this side of my face. So for those who are frustrated by my cancellations of the next shows, I'm just physically, obviously not capable of doing them. This is pretty serious, as you can see. I wish this wasn't the case, but obviously my body's telling me I gotta slow down. And I hope you guys understand, and I'll be using this time to just rest and relax and get back to 100% so that I can do what I was born to do. But in the meantime, this ain't it. I gotta go get my...
This is a little long in the tooth.
My rest on so that I can get my face back to where it's supposed to be. I love you guys. Thanks for being patient with me.
So I wanted to play that whole thing because I wanted you to really see like how fucked his face is. And
it is really fucked up.
It is. And if you don't remember, if you're new to the podcast, we actually did an episode back in January of this year called "What the Hell is Ramsay Hunt Syndrome? Shingles Are the Devil." And that was with our friend Jennifer. And
was that the whole title?
That was the whole title, yeah.
What the hell?
What the hell? Yeah.
Because Shingles gave her Ramsay Hunt.
Right,
That's right.
I know that, yeah.
And so here's the thing. Jennifer had shingles. It was quite a long time ago. I don't remember the exact timeline. But from what I gathered from that conversation, there was a recovery of shingles, but it left her pretty much for the rest of her life in a state where she's kind of pretty much exactly what we just saw there. Like the whole, I believe it was the left side of Jennifer's face was completely paralyzed. You know, she talked with, she kind of had that like Bell's palsy kind of look when she talked. Like you could see the one side of her mouth wouldn't move. Like there wasn't a lot of like expression like we just saw with Bimbit there. And I quickly kind of wanted to go through the complications of Ramsay Hunt just to kind of remind us. So man, I feel so bad for Bieber because like, I mean, that sucks in general, but for someone who's a singer, he's looking at potential hearing loss, which is like that totally, like if you're a singer, you need your hearing.
Though arguably it could be better because when you have hearing loss, like it would be in one side of his head, and you always hear singers going like, covering one ear so they can really hear themselves. So maybe
I think
maybe it will be better.
Maybe, but I feel like hearing loss will have an effect on your ability to, because they're not when singers plug their ear, they're not fucking plugging the ear to experience hearing loss. They're plugging the ear to like they can still hear out of that fucking ear with the finger in. So it's like to get in tune with your ability to like hit certain notes. But if he has permanent hearing loss in one side.
You know, like when you go to a show and you put earplugs in, you can hear the show better.
And they're also like hearing the fucking monitor that's in their ear. So you've got hearing loss and facial weakness. For most people, the hearing loss and facial paralysis associated with Ramsay Hunt is temporary. So let's cross our fingers that Bieber has it temporary. However, it can become permanent, which would be a problem. Eye damage. So the facial weakness by Ramsay Hunt syndrome may make it difficult for you to close your eyelid. He didn't blink once out of that right eye.
Man, your eyes
was open the whole time.
So dry.
So when that happens, the cornea, which protects your eye, can become damaged. Probably just dries right the fuck out.
Fucking desert.
And then there's post-heptic neuralgia. This painful condition occurs when shingles infection damages the nerve fibers. The messages sent by these nerve fibers become confused and exaggerated, causing pain that may last long after other symptoms. Signs and symptoms of Ramsay Hunt have faded. So, he could be looking at dealing with like chronic pain. So, I mean, that's just like, it's so fucking wild to like think when, someone like that gets affected by something like that.
Yeah. Do you think in this case, it's like, I always wonder when like people who have like fuck you money,
$1 bajillion. I had this conversation with Kira the other day. I was like, he can probably, he's privileged enough to probably have access to things that maybe someone like Jennifer didn't, in terms of like
undoubtedly
her public health care versus definitely. Like the private care that he could probably, have access to.
Yeah.
But it's like, does that even matter if there's nothing that can be done? You know what I mean? Like it's one thing if he had, I don't know, like if he had a certain type of cancer that is like that. There are really wild treatments that you could do.
Yeah.
But
even just
with
like
Ramsay Hunt, I don't know.
Just not having to wait at all. For anything,
And
by not wait, I mean like not even fucking not even wait a minute. Like I'm making an appointment and I'm walking in and I'm the doctor and like probably the best doctor that's known for dealing with this specifically and being the best probably in the United States.
Or if that doctor was in Japan, he's like, well, then just fucking put me on my private jet.
Private plane to Japan, see the doctor. Yeah, whoever in the world, best in the world.
But then the question still remains, like, is speed of treatment even a part of the success of treatment of Ramsay Hunt? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess, disease doesn't discriminate. So there you go.
I feel bad for Bieber.
So do I, man.
I've always felt bad for him. Number one, if you haven't watched any Justin Bieber documentaries, they're actually really good.
You mean you feel bad for him because he became a celebrity at such a young age, and that's an incredibly challenging thing to deal with?
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah, and watching a childhood celebrity have to now navigate and understand what it means to be a human in the world. With this, like,
after never having
fucked up perspective on what
it's like child actors.
I always feel bad for like when those people like when a lot of those child actors start to like act out when they're like 18, 19 years old. I'm always like, do you remember that? Man, I feel bad. Like I don't. Yeah. I'm not like fuck you for causing all that shit. They don't know little kid. I'm like, remember that video? That's a damaged kid.
Remember that video of him when he was a kid when he was being interviewed by the lady and she asked him about like Selena Gomez. She was like, yeah. I heard Selena Gomez like said this about you, and then he was like, "Oh, well, that's news to me." And she goes, and he goes, "I like that laugh."
I didn't see that.
Yeah, see that? Oh, it's so, he's like 12.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it's really funny.
I like that laugh.
Well, get better soon, Biebs.
Yeah, get better soon so we can have more of those Bimbits.
They're gonna cancel the Bimbits if he doesn't get better.
I don't know what the transition is here. Here's a transition for people transitioning. There's a service out there. I didn't know about this. This is fucking super cool. Our friend Katie in Vancouver, who will be at our Vancouver live show coming up September 20 something, 3rd maybe. She sent me this on Instagram. This is a CBC Instagram reel about this person in BC who has clients who are transitioning. And I never thought about this. Like if you were transitioning from female to male, I'm guessing that like through the treatments that are out there in terms of like hormonal treatments, if you're starting taking like tea on a regular basis, you're going to have like a bunch of changes happen to your body. I'm sure it does also have some sort of effect on the way that your voice presents itself based on those hormones. But I didn't realize that like there's actually quite a bit of like work to be done to actually present the like voice that fits with your identity,
like voice coaching.
Yeah, exactly.
Like practice.
Yes,
practicing to speak a certain way.
Yes, exactly. And that's what this person does specifically. Is they help people find their new resonance in their voice. So check this out.
But in mixture with set up in this configuration, you would perceive it more female.
And if I have my voice set up more in this configuration, there's a chance you would perceive it as more androgynous or more masculine.
So a lot of what we do with my clients are focused on building, kind of like this comfortable understanding of how to use and manipulate their own resonance.
Hi, how are you?
The human voice does something very similar, though, in that you can perceive gender based on the positioning of those resonances.
Depending on, if you have previously seen me or, anything like that. If you just heard this voice on the phone, you might think it's a more masculine voice. But if I just hold
She's
this
just
pitch
altering
here,
her voice there, right?
Yeah, they're altering their voice.
Right, you can see it's quite
for people listening.
than,
the two voices we're hearing are from the same person.
Being able to actually hear the voice that I had heard in my head since I was a little kid was phenomenal. There's not really words to describe it. Being able to know that other people perceive me the way that I've been perceiving myself my entire life is just an indescribable feeling.
How neat is that?
That's really
Wow.
That's really
Wasn't
cool.
it a cool job?
Yeah.
That is totally wild. Man, what stands out to me is how much effort that would take.
Just quite a bit.
Not as the coach. Well, obviously as the coach because it's a job, but
as the person.
As the person.
Yeah.
Because like when you think about, have you ever seen like an actor do a really amazing, like a British actor do a really great American accent or vice versa, and then or let's say something that's like someone more like who's like Spanish, and they do an American accent really really well, but like Javier Bardem or something.
I was just gonna say Javier.
But then
Bardem.
when he goes and speaks at an interview, he speaks with a Spanish accent, and yourself, like you've heard him do this incredible American accent, American voice with no hint of a Spanish accent whatsoever, and you're like, it's so funny because like you can speak American, but American accent, but you don't because it would be so exhausting.
Well, yeah,
to
and
speak in that way all
and
the
then
time.
The other part on top of that is like, you can speak with like a generalized American accent, but like you're also speaking very specific lines in a very specific script that you very specifically practiced.
Yeah.
And so to like translate that over to like improving a conversation, it's actually quite hard. It's quite difficult. Like you need to like, kind of like put yourself in that.
Then this even speaks
space.
to that even more because you're doing it improving everything you say all the time in a voice that isn't naturally
That's
yours.
Right. Yeah, because so again, for people that are just listening and not watching on YouTube, the voice that we heard in that interview was, as you heard the voice go from this sort of higher resonance female sounding voice, and then the person drops down to this like deeper, more like male resonant voice. That's the same person speaking. And so like in order to drop down like a few of those octaves and like hit that particular resonance, it goes against your natural, innate sort of instinct to speak. And so like to go through every day of your life working on that. I mean, I can imagine. It makes so much sense to me now to see that there's someone out there that coaches people how to do that, because it is. I mean, as someone who went through theater school and like, vocal resonance is like one of the most important things as an actor that you learn. Like we would do voice class every single day, 5 days a week. And this is the kind of shit we'd be doing all the time.
Yeah.
And it's hard work. Like it's really, really trippy work.
That must with time though become
second nature.
Yeah. Like, so I think of the way that sometimes, have you guys ever met somebody who's traveled to like Australia and then comes back and has like, like a little bit of a twang, like a little bit of like sounds like they, I have a good friend who grew up in Dubai and he moved to Australia, and I was talking to him on the phone a few months ago, and he had this like his voice sounded totally different. He's been in Australia for like 5 years now, and I was just thinking about that. Like it's I think that it can become second nature with some practice. So like I feel like there's probably some aspect of that where we just condition ourselves to speak a certain way, and then you don't think about it because it's an unconscious decision to talk like that. But with practice, you can condition yourself to speak differently, I assume.
And when you
without
and for people who are transitioning, the hormones, I think hormone use, like taking supplemental hormones, estrogen or testosterone, would help in making that less challenging. Although this is a totally fictional fucking show. In Euphoria, Jules's character talks about mentions her voice change and taking estrogen, and how she there's a point where she's talking about thinking about not being on hormone supplements anymore, and she expresses like worry over her voice changing, and she becomes so comfortable with that voice and what that would mean, how people perceive her, and blah 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 blah. So yeah, I mean, it really does speak to how, I mean, people who are transitioning, there's so many fucking challenges that you're going, like 1,000 challenges that you're going through, and you probably wouldn't. One of the ones that you would think of outwardly as somebody knowing somebody who's transitioning, you probably wouldn't think the effort that goes into altering your voice is one of them.
Yeah, yeah. It's a cool job. I'm first of all, thank you, Katie, for sending that, because I thought that was really, really fucking neat, and it'd be fun to have someone like that on to actually like go into the depths of like what that means for someone, you know, like how hard is that?
Yeah.
It's one thing to hear someone talk about it and to think about it, but like really, what are the? I'm sure there's things that, you know, that you wouldn't even consider. Yeah. And then it just makes me think about, because I've never thought about that, and so it's like, well, what are the other things that I'm not really considering when hearing about someone transitioning, and not considering like the all of the challenges that go with that, whether they be social or physical or, you know, what have you.
It reminds me of this thing I saw once on Dr. Phil. Like I have this vivid memory of watching this Dr. Phil episode when I was like 12 years old.
When he had the bum fights guy come on who looked just like him?
No. Oh yeah, the guy who actually shaved his head.
Yeah.
That was really silly.
Dr. Phil kicked him off right away. He was like, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
But he had him sit in the green room, bring him out on stage, and be like, "I'm not just so
play the intro video and then kick him off."
Yeah, fucking that's bullshit.
Everybody in that, everybody on that stage was a real POS.
Yeah, and well, so anyway, so the thing that I was going to talk about was this: there was this woman who had a voice that sounded like she was a 10-year-old girl, and she would. This is when calling people from your landline was like really popular and there was no caller ID, and she would call places and they would be like, we have to speak to an adult, or we need to speak to your mom, or like she would call to order like food and they would be like, is there an adult around that can finalize your order?
God.
And she was like really like she was super insecure about her voice,
destroying her life.
Yeah, because she felt like she could never. She felt like I think the way that she had described it was that it was like, you know, when you're like under 25 and you're not able to rent a vehicle on your own.
Yeah.
But then you become old enough to rent a vehicle on your own. You're like, hey, sweet. Like this will come in handy every so often, I guess. But like, it's not really like that much of a life-changing thing. But you like kind of hit that point where you're like, now I'm really
now I can do anything.
Now I can drink, buy a gun, and rent a car.
I think she explained it that it was like she felt like she would never hit that point in her life where she was actually an adult because of her voice.
Oh,
yeah, and so a voice coach like that would be really helpful for her.
We should get in touch with her.
But she's like 80
let her
now.
know in case she hasn't thought of that.
She's like 80 now, and she's still like,
Hello. Hi, everybody.
she's like, no cap for real.
No, she's a total zoomer.
Yeah, she's
That
that's
shit was
what.
gas.
Bet.
It actually wasn't the resonance of her voice; it was just the language
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was
Yeah.
using.
That's straight gas.
We're like, what?
Speaking of what is
I hate
gas,
you guys.
what is not gas, I guess. Alopecia, not gas. Speaking of alopecia,
So I've heard.
we spoke to our friend Lainey back in 2019, April 8th, 2019.
Wow, that's so
that episode
long
was
ago.
titled "A Woman Balding in Her 20s, Alopecia."
Is this whole episode about celebrities now? Like, are we going to go into?
No, we're not going to be talking about the Smith family.
Okay.
This is just about how alopecia treatments are lacking. So alopecia is a medically benign, but its mental health consequences can be severe. Research shows women with the condition are at risk of depression, anxiety, and poor quality of life, negative body image, and, quote, marked disturbances in their social life, like missing school or work. A 12-year-old died by suicide earlier this year by being bullied about her baldness.
Oh no.
But there
Whoa.
is no cure nor ideal solutions. Steroids, whether in cream, shot, or pill form, are common treatments, but only work in some cases and comes with side effects, obviously. Which I'm guessing one of those side effects would probably be moon face, which then you're dealing with like
Moon face?
Yeah, you're not familiar with that?
No.
Moon face is a condition that people get when they are on a
Like
long-term dose of
prednisone or something?
of like
Yeah.
prednisone or
They got
steroids.
puffy?
Yeah, your face literally anyone who's gone through something like double lung transplant oftentimes will end up with moon face, because when you're done your transplant, you're chronically on steroids, and as a part of like the post like transplant treatment, and so your face literally like rounds out and gets like moon face, like the shape of the moon. Your face goes fully round, and it's quite jarring. Like it's a really and it's very obvious. Like when you see someone with moon face. If you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't know. But if you saw someone with moon face and you knew what moon face was, you go, "Oh well, I wonder
That's
if they had
moon face.
like kidney dialysis or something like that."
What's interesting about a question that I would have about alopecia and remedying it, if that was something that you wanted to do, especially if you were desperately wanted to do it because you were facing like bullying or if it was really affecting your mental health, is like, you ever seen pictures of Lewis Hamilton?
Yeah.
Like making $100 million a year?
Yeah.
Oh
And
no.
Yeah.
dude.
Oh yeah.
Dude, he has a crazy receding hairline, like way back.
Whoa, really?
And
Or
he
not
has
even Lewis Hamilton.
What a
Someone that
handsome guy,
more people would
Lewis
even know
Hamilton.
is what's his name from Greece?
John Travolta?
John Travolta. Yeah.
But he's bald as hell.
Well, I mean, not when he wants to not be.
Oh, right.
You know what
Well,
I mean? Like
But like Lewis,
he was balding like that back in the day.
right? But Lewis Hamilton, like today,
Yeah.
has a
Lewis Hamilton is a famous F1 driver. For people that
he
don't know.
has an impeccable, like a perfect, like hairline,
head of hair. Yeah.
and he used to have a really bad like male pattern baldness, and shoot, that he doesn't have that anymore. So that was, I mean, I guess like what's the difference between losing your hair to something like male pattern baldness or just losing your hair versus alopecia? That
like I wonder if it
allow-
does. I wonder if those treatments don't stick with someone with alopecia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just the body goes, well, it doesn't matter if the hair has been implanted or not. Like we're not keeping it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is there
Well, another option involves using chemicals to trigger a painful allergic reaction on the scalp, which in 40% of cases counterintuitively stops the immune system from attacking hair follicles. So that's it.
Huh.
The body's attacking hair follicles. So my guess would be that having even a hair transplant wouldn't work. The therapy needs to be done consistently and isn't widely available, according to the National Alopecia Areata Foundation.
the hair? It's not hair transplant though. It's they're implants, right? Like they
Right. Sorry, that's what I mean.
They like implant it in.
They're
so
like, they're like it's like stitching hair onto a dummy doll. You know, like
the The word dummy, I know you're talking about, but like a dummy doll, it made me feel like the doll was attacked. I was like, no, don't say that.
Don't call the doll dummy.
But would it? Because I don't know how it works. I'm assuming none of us do. But if they tried to implant hair in, is it implanting into the existing follicle?
I think that wouldn't work. Yeah, that's why. Many women find wearing a wig, which can come with its own expense and discomfort, is the best solution.
I remember Lainey said they were like $3,000.
They're really expensive, yeah.
For like a top end one, I guess.
Yeah, bus and wig.
Yeah, bus and straight gas.
Olumiant, generic name baricitinib, is among a class of drugs called a JAK inhibitor. They've traditionally been used in autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis to block the unwanted immune response. While they seem to be helpful for some alopecia patients, JAK inhibitors other than Olumiant,
I believe it's aluminium,
including, I'm not even gonna try this, Xeljanz, are being
wait, how do you spell it? That's a cool word.
Xeljanz. Xeljanz are being studied and not yet FDA approved for alopecia. Quote, people are spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on JAK inhibitors, Quinlan said, often buying them abroad, a practice she called, quote, a little shady. Olumiant's approval, for one, will help patients get insurance coverage for the treatment. So this is a drug that they're like saying that we should be getting more access to this. Last year, the FDA began requiring warning labels on JAK inhibitors due to their, quote, increased risk of serious heart-related events, cancer, blood clots, and death. Smokers and people with heart conditions are mostly at risk. Still, many patients find the benefits of alopecia treatment outweigh the risks. Dermatologist and hair loss specialist Marianne Senna previously told Insider's Andrea Michelson, quote, when my patients and study subjects regrow their hair because of these treatments, I can see their smiles return, she said. They tell me, I feel like I've had my life back and I feel like myself again.
And your hair is
it's huge.
Your hair is like
huge part of your identity.
I obviously I take it for granted because I've never not had hair. But when you're,
I think all three of us got really lucky in the hair department.
Yeah. And I my hair changed when I was like 18, 19, 20 from like, my hair was always, didn't matter how I cut it. It just like grew it grew straight. It didn't like, and I never liked my hair ever. And then all of a sudden at some point when I was like 20, I cut my hair and it just like had some curl to it. And then I started to like identify a lot with my hair.
Yeah.
Like that my hair was a very big part of me, like outwardly to the world.
Yeah.
And if that were to like go away tomorrow, like,
have you used the bald filter on Snapchat?
No, I haven't.
It's nasty.
But I mean, you know,
I used it the other day and I was like, not too bad.
You've had really long hair.
Well, I was going to say,
when you cut your hair, like how nerve-wracking is it when you chop a ton of hair off?
I was never worried. Like I wasn't.
You buzzed your head.
I didn't find it nerve-wracking when I cut my hair. I didn't actually find it that big of a deal, except for the fact that I felt like a different person afterwards.
Yeah.
And I didn't anticipate that. Like before I wasn't like, oh, like I'm going to cut my hair and feel weird about it. But I also think that at that point in our lives, the first time we both grew our hair really long, I would say that was the first time that I felt like I identified my personality with my hairstyle.
Because our long hair was like a symbol of the type of person that we were, which was like getting high every day, not really giving a fuck about anything.
Yeah, fuck the man.
And our hair was a symbol of that. Really,
fucking hippies.
Totally, dude. 100%. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
And it was a way to wear that as like a badge of honor.
And if you walk around the world go to any city, like you can tell the way that people wear their hair. It is a symbol of the type of person that they are. A lot of people.
And now the new version of that is mullets.
The color of your hair, the cut of your hair, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And hair holds a very like strong cultural value to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know? So shout out to I don't know what's it called? Fucking
Xeljanz.
I was gonna say, speaking of guys
and JAK inhibitors.
Speaking of those words, Why is it that
just name it something fucking not stupid?
But can we talk about this for a second? Because
Creon,
I feel like
enzymes. There we go. Creon's okay.
I feel like we've been beating around the bush on this for like years now, because I mean, Jared, we poke fun at you for how poorly you say some of these long medical words.
Hey man,
but I couldn't say them.
If you guys were trying to read this every week, they're tough.
But it has to do with it has to do with like chemicals or enzymes.
But I don't give a shit. Why did we name those things those things? Like why are all those class things? Why are they all named crazy, long, hard to pronounce things? Why?
Why can't they be more like community?
It's like in
that's a perfect example of why they're so shit.
If you go to med school, when you learn about muscles and the skeletal system and everything, it's all in Latin.
Yeah, but you know what? Zeljans, not Latin. That's straight out of like Andromeda 2.93.
I'm just using it as an example of like it's just the language of the field.
I want to say right now, I want to say we should
I know why.
We should
I know the reason.
We should have an etymologist on the podcast to talk about this. Sure. But I don't even know if that's really how you say that word. Etymologist.
That is how you say that.
I'm not sure because it's a long, hard scientific word.
Etymology?
Is it?
Is it long and hard?
No.
To me, it is.
I mean, you said it pretty well.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I know the reason why these drugs are named like this.
It looks funny
it's because these fucking nerds don't have any inspiration in creativity. So their heads are in books, and they don't have like they need to get a writer's room, for naming drugs.
100%.
Get a bunch of comedians together, come up with a fucking cool, funny name.
That would actually be a really great exercise.
I agree.
Like my Creon enzymes, we should just call them belly pills. Here's a brilliant thing.
That's a really good idea.
We should just get my nephews to do it. I was hanging out with my nephews the other day, and my sister, we went prank. Prank. This is the older ones, the 12-year-olds, and it was Father's Day, and we were hanging out. And my sister, we just had dinner. My sister pulled out dessert, and she pulled out a box of Oreos, and one of the boys goes, "Oh yeah, cream betweens." And I was like, what did you just cook? He was like, cream betweens. No. And I was like, I'm never calling Oreos again. Cream betweens? That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, that's good.
That
cream betweens.
Awesome. Wait, did you ask him why he calls them that?
No.
It's obvious.
No, I mean, because there's fucking cream in between them.
I went to, I remember when I was like, I'm not sure if I've told you guys this story before, but when I was like 5 years old, my great aunt and uncle were taking care of my brother and I for the day. And they took us out for lunch to KFC, and they asked us what we wanted to eat. And we had been there before, and we were like, we want chicken with a cover. And they were like, what the fuck is chicken with a cover? And we were like, well, it's on the menu here. We always get it when we come here. And they were like, no, there's no chicken with a cover on the menu. And we were like, no, every time we get the chicken with the cover on it.
Your dad's just been fucking with you?
And so we didn't get what we wanted, but what it was we wanted fried chicken, and the cover was the skin because it's fried, and then you take it off, and I mean you eat it, and it has a cover on it.
Eat the cover. Yeah.
So I just always called it chicken with a cover, and I didn't know that it was just fried chicken.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Yeah. So now it's not as good as cream betweens.
No, it's not.
Cream betweens.
Maybe you'll go to KFC now and start calling it that.
Yeah,
I was gonna start going to KFC, Jer.
I mean, no, I'm a Mary Brown's man myself.
They still have chicken with a cover at Mary Brown's.
Hey,
is Mary Brown's from Newfoundland?
I believe it is.
It's I don't know. It's like if you don't eat Mary Brown's and you're from Newfoundland, you will be crucified.
Yeah, that's right.
They'll throw you into the harbor.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to see something kind of unsettling?
Yes.
You know how Taylor, your eyes were itchy the other day. You know when you're itching your eyes and you rub your eyes like hard?
Yes, and then they get more itchy and red and dry.
Or like when you rub your eyes hard and you stop and you open your eyes and it's just like all you see is like these little speckles. Here's an MRI of what it looks like when you rub your eyes. Look what's happening here. Ugh. Oh God,
dude, that's gross.
Wait till you see the top view, dude. Top view, watch this. Don't rub it so hard, dude. Oh my God.
No, wow. It kind of looks like it feels good.
Does it look like there's a little puppet master in the middle there that's like
Can you bring that up again? I want to see that again.
Yeah, watch one more time. Got Nathan Fielder there rubbing his eyes.
Look at him just moving around.
Isn't that gross?
You watch this little puppet master from the top down view.
Yeah, right.
He's just pulling.
Oh, caramba. Yeah, so don't rub your eyes, folks.
I have fucking allergies now, guys. I don't know how the fuck what's that about?
I don't know.
You should either be born with them, or
guys, I'm
never
getting a
have
phone
them.
call here. 1 second. Hello.
Offer.com. This is a follow-up call to inform you that we have a new casino offer in Canada. The site's called Casino Friday. You can get a 100% no sticky welcome bonuses up to $500 plus 200 free spin and also a parachute bonuses. Basically, it means your real money and your bonus money are completely separated. First, you will play with your real money first. So if you win before you hit the bonus balance, you can withdraw straight away without worrying. So now, sir, I'll be sending you a text message with a link in the online casino, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I want money.
Versus 9025797361, right?
Well, yeah, you shouldn't have said my phone number out loud, but sure.
Okay, sir. Are you using a mobile phone?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, sir. I already sent you the text message. You check that anytime.
I was going to say it again because you didn't get it.
Goodbye.
Sure. Can you just tell me the message? What am I getting in? I'm getting free money?
Yes, sir. $500 plus 200 free spin and also parachute bonuses. Okay, sir. Thank you for
Yeah,
now
sweet.
and have a great day. Goodbye.
Okay. Well, you fucking cock.
Dude, that guy went hard into his pitch right away.
Yeah.
Hard into his pitch right away, and he was pretty convinced that you were really going to do something about it.
Yeah, let's cut that out.
Wasn't as fun as we wanted it to be.
No, I wanted to do the old your mom's pussy. All right, 36.
Let's leave that in.
No, we'll leave that in. Well, here's I put this story in here for you, Brian. And this comes from Jen in our Discord. Thank you, Jen. Can't wait to see you at the Steve-O show here in Halifax later in the fall. Nova Scotia lawmakers hear how a Dartmouth teacher, Dartmouth here in Nova Scotia, across the bridge from where we live, where the boys are from. Lawmakers hear how a Dartmouth teacher used CPR training to save a young student. Listen up, Brian. When grade 2 student Sophia Guthrow collapsed during gym class in December 2020, a school employee carried her to the office at Mount Edward Elementary School in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Vice principal and grade 5 teacher Rebecca Stickings knew exactly what to do. The CPR training she first learned as a teenage camp counselor in Madawaska, Maine kicked in. She learned this a long-ass time ago, this old-ass teacher. So here's a photo. This woman, this fully grown woman, who's like probably my mom.
Old-ass teacher?
Old-ass might be a little harsh.
I hope she does not see or hear this.
She looks like she's probably 43, maybe?
Yeah.
Dude, for a CF patient, that's old as fuck.
She has CF.
No, I have CF. So anyone older than me is ancient. She said, quote, "You just go into autopilot with training and you remember the stuff that's necessary."
That's exactly what I did.
Said Sticking, who, with the help of a 911 medical communications officer giving directions, kept Guthrow's blood flowing from her no longer beating heart until paramedics arrived. They did use a portable AED that they had on site at the time to revive her, recounted Sticking. Quote, "When she left the school, she was breathing and she had a pulse," she said. "We were very, very happy about that." Sophia had a rare disorder, restrictive cardiomyopathy. Myopathy?
I think so.
I think you're right, yeah.
A condition where the chambers of the heart become stiff over time. She needed urgent treatment. According to her mother, Stefania Gallant, Sophia's heart stopped again not long afterwards during a stress test at the IWK Health Center. Her daughter eventually received a heart transplant in July of 2021.
Wow.
Little fucking girl in grade 2.
Wow.
What
How
is
cute
that,
do you think that little heart is that she got?
How cute do I think it is?
Probably pretty
Yeah.
cute. I
Yeah,
mean,
probably
it's a
fairly cute.
like, what's the, like a grade 2, you're what, 7? Like
Probably,
a 7
yeah.
and your heart's the size of your hand?
What do you think Zaya's heart looks like right now?
So little, dude.
Oh, yeah. It's
Go get her to make a fist, and that's how big her heart is.
Brian, you
super
could come
cute.
over and do chest compressions to see if you could like stop it and start it up again.
Yeah,
now,
for sure.
Sophia's now in grade 3, and the young student's memory of that day, her heart stopped, is not all that clear. She said, quote, "I was running in the gym, and then I felt like I went back home, but I dropped on the floor, and I went all back. I went all black," said Guthrow. "I went to the ambulance and then drove to the hospital. There's nothing hazy about the 9-year-old's feelings for her vice principal. She said, quote, I think of her as my angel. Oh. Their story was just one of the examples of a group of people who appeared before the Nova Scotia Legislature's Health Committee on Tuesday to illustrate the life-saving power of CPR training and readily available AEDs.
I wonder what they were teaching at that place in Maine, though, because like for it to be so memorable. I mean, I've sat through like probably 5 or 6 St. John's Ambulance CPR courses, and obviously don't remember anything.
Well, no, you do though. You just you did the training, but you did it on a guy who didn't need it.
Yeah. No.
You just need to give it a beat.
Wait, guys. I feel attacked when you say I use it on a guy who didn't need it, because I'm actually batting 50%.
You are.
I also used it on a guy
that needed
who
it.
did fucking need it.
Yeah.
And
so
it worked.
So this is what they should be. This is what they should be teaching these people at these summer camps, is like when to and when not to use CPR.
Yeah.
Right. They must have been doing that at that summer camp.
Yeah, because she knew.
Unless she's going to go and do it again. Now she's all jacked up.
Well, see,
it worked once.
So here's what happened, right? The girl's heart stopped.
Yeah.
And they brought her to the office. And the vice principal and the teacher were like, all right, well, let's check her pulse. I'm guessing. I don't know this, but I'm guessing they checked her pulse. And there was no pulse. Now, here's the thing. When Taylor collapsed, did you A, check his pulse, B, listen for a breath? No, you're right. So you did it wrong. You did it wrong. Almost killed the guy.
But I didn't almost
fucking kill the guy.
I didn't almost kill him.
Thank God he's still here with us.
You actually, wait. Actually, I really feel strongly about this. Not because I actually care at all about what happened to Taylor.
Right.
But I feel strongly about this because I don't think that we should be talking about it in the way where we are discouraging people from attempting.
No, we're encouraging people to take the right steps.
So don't ever, if you're fucking listening to this, I'm dead serious right now, and I feel very strongly about this. Don't ever question if you're unsure if you should do it or not. You should do it. You should fucking do it anyway, because you're 100%. If you're unsure,
I'm not saying no.
If you're unsure, 100% you should do it.
Right.
Because
what if they
can't hurt?
Right. But what if they have, well, you can though.
No, I mean, you can break their ribs, but also they could die other-wise.
They could also die from broken ribs.
And I'm actually passionately fucking angrily telling you this because I fucking stood by and watched somebody die.
I know.
Before. I'm dead serious.
I know.
And I get fucking mad about that because I'm fucking mad right now. Because I watched somebody die. Guys.
I know. But also, do you agree that you should also check for a pulse?
100%.
That's the only thing.
That's all.
But when I talked to Jer, when I walked into this room that night after that thing,
I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing because you're so
because I believe that we could be putting out the wrong information that would convince somebody to not do it, and then somebody could die because that happened to me. I was there.
I think people are reading between the lines of the jokiness.
And when I do too. I'm not actually offended by you guys. I'm just passionately saying this because it's important. But listen, because Jared, and this is the last thing I want to add. When I came in that night, and Andrew asked me if I checked Taylor's pulse, and I was like, no, I didn't. And he was like, okay. He said to me, he was like,
for context, this all happened. I was here at the office with my friend Andrew. You came in and you were like, guys, I think Taylor might be not okay. And you told us the story. And Andrew got very worried because Andrew's an RT. He's a healthcare professional.
And when I said I was worried that he was not okay, it was not because I did CPR to him. I was worried that he was not okay because he fucking passed out.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing that Andrew said to me, it was like, oh, well, sometimes it's very difficult to find a pulse anyway. So if you don't find a pulse, and if you're unsure if you're even touching in the right place, then you should do CPR anyway. 100%. So yes, you should obviously look for a pulse first.
Now, do you think? How do you think this conversation?
Don't be afraid to do CPR.
That's right. Hey, Bri, I don't disagree with you, but what do you think that conversation would be? The conversation would be right now if it was just the two of us doing this because you killed Taylor. Do you think you'd be like, guys, don't ever do CPR? It's never worth it.
I wouldn't be doing this podcast.
I killed my best friend.
Perspective, man.
I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I'd probably be in a dark place in my life where I'd be like, I'm not comfortable talking about anything in front of anybody ever again.
While they made their pitch
Rightfully
to the
so.
province to help spread the word, Guthrow and Stickings watched from the public gallery overhead. Dr. John Sapp, a cardiologist, told the committee Stickings' fast action was essential. Quote, those were critical 7.5 minutes, said Sapp. The results is in front of all of us, that Sophia is alive, standing among us in the gallery because her teacher recognized what was happening, was not afraid to act, and she knew what to do.
Did she reference our podcast? Like she had listened to an episode that we had done.
And she went,
about
I was
CPR?
going to do it within 1 second. And then I thought, let me give it a beat and do the proper assessment.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to hurt her.
I also think. hey, listen. To my credit too, I think I would have maybe had a better, done a better assessment of the situation if we hadn't just smoked weed like 5 minutes before assessing the situation
and drank
yeah.
all day.
Yeah,
right.
and I don't think that Miss Stickings was drunk or high when this happened. So, Catherine Rand, the director of health policy and systems at Heart and Stroke Nova Scotia, told the committee that her organization wants to train groups of students in grades 7 and 9 how to administer CPR and how to use AEDs. I think that honestly, the AED thing is hella important because I'm sure there's not enough AEDs out there. I don't know for sure, but I have a feeling like we could probably. I don't know where the closest one is to me. Probably across the street at the pharmacy that is
There's probably
across
an
the
AED
street from
in
me.
this building.
You think there is?
I haven't seen
it.
I haven't seen one, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't. I feel like there would.
There
be.
should be one.
So the fact that we don't know that is like that's a problem, right?
So where do you think the closest one is?
I think my guess would be at the pharmacy across the street from my place. So from here, that's a 2-minute walk, maybe a 30-second run.
Yeah.
And then you've got a minute to get it back up here.
Yeah.
They said, quote, the key to improving survival rates involves equipping Nova Scotians with the skills and equipment needed to provide a layer of protection to cardiac arrest victims when an emergency strikes, said Rand. We want to create a generation of heroes through embedding CPR AED education into the school system. The national organization is hoping to start pilot projects in Nova Scotia, Ontario, Alberta, and British Columbia as early as the next school year, teaching junior high and high school students how to save people who experience a cardiac arrest. Quote, it's an immersive documentary experience where the students will be walked through how to respond to a cardiac arrest by witnessing a teacher actually collapsing of a cardiac arrest, and then they have 2 minutes of practice using CPR mannequins as well as the use of an AED, said Rand following the meeting. Our hope is to implement it in the province by November of this year. And the interesting thing, like when I'm thinking about this, we didn't learn any of this shit in high school. You know, like it is kind of funny that we don't include that in high school education because
Did we not? I feel like we did.
No,
I feel like we had it.
I didn't. I think the first time I ever got CPR training was doing like a babysitter's course.
Yeah.
When I was young, and that was through the school. Yeah, but it wasn't like.
Did you ever take care of children, Jeremy?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Oh yeah. And I was very good at it.
And
I'm fucking serious about this, dude. I'm very serious about this. I took care of a number of children.
I don't know if you. I don't think you were. Guys, do you think that it's possible to get kids to care about CPR?
That's the other thing. You know, I mean, junior high
challenging.
students. I don't know. I think there is. You know, so here's a little anecdote. When I was doing, I went on this like whitewater kayaking, whitewater rafting, excursion over like 3 months, and the whole it was a curriculum. The whole thing was like you come out of it in the end with as a certified raft guide and a certified whitewater kayak instructor. And as a part of that, we had to do our wilderness first responder training. And the way that they had set up this training is that it's like a 7-day intensive and it's highly interactive. And so like at the end of the training, like on day 6 or day 7, we were all like hanging out, having a couple of beers, and unbeknownst to us, one of the guys that was like a part of our, like one of the raft guides that had been like training us comes in while we're like, you know, we're in like chill mode. We're in fucking, let's get drunk and eat food and, you know, shenanigans. And this guy runs in and he goes, all right, we got to go. Like there was an emergency down in the ravine. and we got to get like stat, everyone up and let's go. And we were like, oh shit. Okay. We all immediately knew that this was like an exercise, but this exercise was, as an actor, this was one of the fucking coolest things I've ever been a part of. We all jump on a bus and we have to drive 25 minutes to this like crazy place in the fucking woods next to this wild river, like on the Ottawa River, somewhere in Quebec. And the bus drive, it's like middle of the night. It's like 11:30. The bus is driving and we're like 2 minutes away from the like the headquarters that we're going to set up. And we've gotten on the drive, we've gotten this sort of debrief that, okay, there's three people who need rescuing, and we don't have a lot of information about these 3 people. We just have like a general idea of like where within this like national park they might be. So we're driving there. All of a sudden, one of the instructors driving the bus, like literally a school bus. Okay. It was like 15 of us on it, slams on the brakes, like going from 50 to 0 in like a second. We like, you know, and you're on a bus, like there's no seatbelts. People like slam against the seats, and the guy driving it screams. He goes, oh no. And we were like, what the fuck? And one of the other instructors was outside of the bus. And so we all get off, and the bus had hit him. And he was just laying in front of the fucking bus. So the guy who was driving the bus is like, all right, he just got hit by a car. 2 of you need to stay with him. So people are like, okay, we will. So they get up. They didn't actually hit him, but this was all set up. This was all like keeping us on our toes. So we leave those 2 people, and they are there to revive him, to save this guy's life.
Meanwhile, the people are like, but my arm's fucking broken because you just jammed the brakes on the fucking bus.
6 of us have whiplash. None of us can move. And
we're all suing.
So these 2 get off, and they start trying to resuscitate this guy. And the guy that's the patient, he is taking notes in his head as to the steps of which these people are taking in order to say whether or not they've passed or failed. So he died. He didn't make it. We find this out later. Bus continues to the...
Oh, so they fucked up.
They didn't fuck up. He was going to die anyway. So that was all part of the thing.
Mm.
So then we get to the like HQ, and we get out and we set up this like little sort of base and like base camp. And we, you know, one of the people in our group is like, all right, I'll take like a leadership role here. He sends off teams of like 2 or 3 to the 3 different patients that are like spread out through this thing. And then we, with like headlamps and flashlights and shit, go out pitch black, like in the fucking middle of nowhere. And we're just going out and yelling at these people's names, trying to find them. So we have no idea where they are. We just have a general like sense of the area with a map. We've never been here before. And we're going around. Eventually, I end up with my team of, I think it was 3 of us. We find this woman, and we yell, and we hear her. But like barely audible. We hear her like kind of moaning. She doesn't like respond with words. And she was down this insane, like totally fucking insane, like embankment at the base of a waterfall. And it's like misting rain. So we're like climbing down these slippery ass rocks to get to her. And we get down there, and
sounds like the most dangerous exercise.
Dude,
to like
it gets way fucking crazier. Way more. It was so, we're looking back and I'm like, man, it's wild that they even like trusted us to do this shit. We get down there. She has really tight pants on, and there's a giant bulge in her leg, in her femur. So we were like, oh, okay. She has a compound fracture of her femur. So we have to do like manual traction on her femur bone, and then set her leg with a paddle. And then she had a couple other, she had a pneumothorax. So like we like lift her shirt up, and there was like a fake blood and like a hole. So we had to like fix the pneumothorax, the hole in her lung, by putting this like bag on her lung to create like, I forget the name of it. It's like reverse pressure or something like that. So we were doing all these things. Negative pressure or something like that. And so then we're like, we got to get her out of here. So we had to go, one of us had to run back to the base camp and get a stretcher. And then we had to bring the stretcher down the embankment, strap her to it. And then we had to hoist her up the same fucking slippery ass rocky And this girl, she is just trusting us and is strapped onto a fucking stretcher as we slide her up these rocks.
And then you dropped her, and 3 of the participants died along with the actor.
It was a real death. Yeah. She really didn't make it. We saved her. We passed with flying colors, but it was wild. But anyway, the whole point of telling that story is that no matter who you are in a situation like that feels so real and is so like immersive, it's hard not to kind of get caught up in the and this might be the wrong word for it, but like the excitement of learning how to do those types of things.
But even in the excitement, Jeremy, before you did anything to the patient, you assessed what they needed first.
Yeah.
First, I asked no questions. I jumped right on top of her and I just started giving her hardcore CPR. As soon as all of her lungs cracked and her ribs cracked, she looked up and she said, "I don't need this." And I was like, "Oh, sorry, my bad. Oh, you're right. Your leg's fucked up."
You know it's crazy that
I was breathing.
Jerry, you know the crazy thing is that Taylor and I have never told you is that when we were in the Calgary airport and we did CPR on the guy, and the firefighters came in and stuff. Actually, when it all ended, he actually got up and shook our hands and said, "You passed." And that was from a CPR course. We had actually been doing the CPR course years ago. And
this was the final test.
And the
final
drug-addled man got up and went, "Good job, guys."
He actually handed me my St. John's ambulance card. Now I'm actually certified. But I forgot everything I learned in that course when Taylor passed out.
So let's move right on here. We'll wrap it up with this week's edition of What the Hell? And this is from Stina. So Jen and Stina, you both get Producer of the Week this week. Thank you.
Fuck yeah.
Guys, this is fucking insane. Geico. You guys know what Geico is?
Yeah.
Geico, the insurance company?
Save money on car insurance.
That's right.
Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway owns Geico. So.
Cool. Little gecko.
Very cool. Geico,
Witty
the gecko,
commercials.
is facing $5.2 million in a payout to a woman who got HPV from fucking in a man's insured car. So Geico could be required to pay a Missouri woman $5.2 million because she said she contracted an STD while having sex in the car of a man who was insured by the company. A 3-judge panel of the Missouri Court of Appeals on Tuesday upheld a Jackson County Court's decision affirming an arbitrator's finding that the woman was entitled to the award.
I actually read about this, and then I read some comments on this. And when you read this article, you can actually understand why they ruled it in that way. But then when you hear the counter argument, it's like, oh, well, it's not in the spirit of the insurance policy.
Well, however, Maryland-based Geico has filed a federal lawsuit arguing the woman's claim is not covered by the man's insurance policy. The company said in an email Thursday that lawsuit will determine whether, quote, there is coverage in this matter. According to court documents, the woman, identified as M.O., and a man who were in a relationship had hanky-panky in the man's car. She contends that she contracted HPV, the human papillomavirus, because the man did not tell her he had the disease. HPV can cause cervical cancer. And other cancers and genital warts. In February 2021, M.O. notified Geico that she planned to seek a $1 million insurance settlement against the man. She argued the man's auto insurance provided coverage for her injuries and losses.
Wow, this is so outside the scope.
But on paper, technically, the way that's written.
Really though, because like, what does the guy's car insurance have to do? Because she fucked him in it.
No, dude. Listen, it's the same way with like contents insurance in your house. How like it's not necessarily like if something's like stolen in your house, or like you go on. This is actually a better example. You go on vacation and something's stolen from you. Sometimes your like home insurance policy.
I did that
covers
with my
it.
MacBook.
Right. So it's like, it sometimes is like, goes beyond what, like the policy, the way that it's written and what it tells you that you're entitled to is actually goes beyond what you think
How do you think this woman got to, like, who was this woman talking to?
This is a really good,
where
that's a really good question.
Someone went, hey, here's the loophole. You fucked him in that Chevy? Well, obviously she fucked him in a fucking. It was a Pontiac Sunfire. Clearly, you fucked him in that Sunfire. I bet you, because you were in the confines of the Sunfire, that you can probably get in. You can get the lawsuit through.
This was like a Better Call Saul type of lawyer situation.
Wild.
See, because what I don't understand is that it's not a motor vehicle incident that causes the harm.
It doesn't have to be, though. By the way, so keep reading.
So the insurance company refused the settlement offer with the $1 million.
I agree.
Saying that the woman's claim did not occur because of normal use of the vehicle. Hey, what's normal use of a vehicle? You know what I mean? It's got a bed in the back. An arbitrator eventually determined that she should be awarded $5.2 million for damages and her injuries. She then filed a motion in Jackson County Court seeking to confirm the award. Geico claimed it did not know the man and woman had entered into arbitration, and when it found out, it sought to intervene in the court case. The company argued the arbitration was awarded. The arbitration awarded was reached through collusion and fraud, violated its rights due to due process, and was unenforceable. The lower court rejected Geico's request and confirmed the award, prompting the insurance company's appeal because it said it did not have a, quote, meaningful opportunity to defend its interests, according to the court documents. The appeals court found that Geico did not have the right to re-litigate the issues after the award had been affirmed.
I guarantee this will get thrown out at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'll just get.
If it doesn't, it's gonna. You know what it's gonna do? It's gonna have that cascade effect. Remember when the? I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like back in the day. There was a person, a man or a woman, and they ordered coffee from McDonald's, and they poured it on their dick or something, and
then burnt their
like,
hands,
whatever. And so they poured it on their dick, and so they just cover their dick in scalding hot coffee, and they're like, "Well, suing McDonald's for ruining my balls." and then I think that they got it. And then that's why now cups all say hot, don't pour on dick. On them. Yeah. But after that, there was people going, oh, well, I'm going to sue McDonald's for making me fat, or I'm going to sue McDonald's for fucking, taking a dump in my fries or
something
whatever.
Like this, if it holds up, it really does. And I know this sounds fucking crazy, but it does open the door, or the door that leads to the door, that leads to the door, that leads to the door, where people are like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself in this car. And the insurance company, it won't be my insurance, it won't be my life insurance. The insurance company, that the car, the whoever holds the policy of the car insurance company will be they'll be on the hook for my death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It opens up these I mean, that's why the law is so fucking complicated, because it's nothing in the law is ever the thing that you're actually talking about. It's the door that it opens to the next thing, to the next thing, and to the next thing, 10 iterations down the road.
Yeah.
And that's why the law is so fucking hard, because it's so hard to have the foresight to know what you are opening the door to in the future.
If you have sex in a car, are you using the car as a thing that you're having sex in?
Yeah.
So
it's a bed on wheels, dude.
Is that the use of the vehicle?
Dude, I don't know.
I mean, if they were fucking, what about this? If they were fucking in the car, right? And then they had just finished, there was a little bit cock, and cars are small, especially at Pontiac Sunfire, they're tiny. And I would know because I'm from Sackville, and that's what I used to drive around and do donuts in. And so you're done fucking in the back of the Sunfire, and you're like, all right, got to climb up to the front seat. And of course, the guy's underwear is around his ankles. And she's kind of cleaning up, and she's like, I'll be up in the front in a second. And he goes, okay, cool. And
he didn't help clean up?
He goes.
Oh, it's a Sunfire. Never mind.
Yeah, he ain't helping. And so he goes to get in the front seat, and then he falls on the gear shift, and it goes up his ass and tears his colon open.
100% insurance claim.
Yeah?
Well, in this scenario, yeah.
Yeah. Now, what if he fell on the gear shift, and he went, oh,
and he transported to another dimension?
No. He went on it. He fell on it, and it hit his prostate. He came again. Okay. Then he gets up, and he's like, holy shit, that was amazing.
He should pay them compensation.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. He gets up off the thing, but there was AIDS on the gear shift.
Oh,
yeah.
And he gets
the insurance company has to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But what if he put the AIDS there?
You know what would be really funny if they threw the question that this whole case hung on, where they were if they were like, were the keys in the car? Like the way that if you're drunk, like if you're drunk and the keys are in the car, even if you're in the passenger seat or the back seat, I'm pretty sure they can still give you a drinking and driving charge because the keys are in the car, which is like some type of like intent to drive or something.
Which is bogus though. If you're drunk and like you're not gonna drive home and you're at a party, but then you got in the backseat of your car to sleep.
Yeah, it would definitely take an asshole cop.
I've done that. The week of our wedding, and we went out to Hunters on PEI, and we got wasted, almost blackout drunk for me. All of us were messed up, and I remember having to do my mask, and I was like, well, I got to do my mask now, and so I went and I sat in the driver's seat, and I had to turn the car on, and I just cranked the seat all the way back, and I went to sleep in the car while I was doing my mask. I wasn't going to drive. Right. But if a cop came up and
in that case, you would have gotten it because the car's on.
And I'm in the driver's
and they would
side.
go, you just drove here to here. You just didn't turn the car off.
Yeah. And I'd be like, no, I'm doing my mask. I need the power.
I've done it. I've slept in my car a few times, and I don't know where I heard that. I don't even know if that's fucking true. I just something that I remember hearing as a kid, probably something that my dad told me or something, and then because of that,
you just throw your keys away.
A few times I've just took them and put them on the wheel, like on the top of one of the wheels, and just get in the car and go to sleep.
Yeah, right.
And then go. Yeah. Keys are in the car.
That's a good idea.
Well, I think the moral of the story today is, what are we talking about? Don't rub your eyes, and don't.
Next time you fuck in a car and get an STD, sue the car.
Sue the insurance company. Sue everyone.
Yeah, and also how could you forget? But just do CPR to everyone too.
Yes,
at all times.
No questions asked.
Sure,
exactly.
Folks, thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Feel Good Friday. We're coming at you Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you do that, and leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, or leave a rating on the Spotify mobile app. And if you want to support the podcast further, come on over to our Discord, where people are helping produce the podcast by sending us these wonderful articles, having awesome conversations, and still to this day sharing the Wordle scores. Got 4 today, no big deal. Really no big deal. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just right. It's on par. If you want to support the podcast, just keep on listening and tell everyone you know to listen too.
And I think that the most appropriate request for letters today would be, where's the craziest place that you've caught HPV? Let us know. Send us a letter to letters@sickboypodcast.com. And if you want to be a guest on the show, you can go to sickboypodcast.com/contact and fill out the form.
And a huge shout out to the folks that make this show possible. Big thank you to Rich O'Coin, who does the theme music, and to Jeff Lonis, our manager. We love you both.
That is it for this week.
I'm Brian.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Jeremy, and this is Sick Boy.